All right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto my apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim that's out here pushing this word in truth. And in all sincerity, Shalom, and Shalom to the sincere sisters as well. I want to do this lesson. Lord willing is edifying, brings a level of understanding to whom that may listen. Because, matter of fact, get that as a scripture. I was sitting here and I'm getting older. I got to start, in the spirit you have. I'm like, I might do a lesson on that. I used to be able to remember them all, but now I'll be like, I gotta write them down. But I was sitting here and I didn't really necessarily have anything I personally wanted to go into. But I was like, I know I wanted to do a lesson, But this is what I'm gonna read. We're gonna go to build from this. This is before I drive off. This is Proverbs 1, and so we're gonna start at 1 and 4, and it says, to give subtlety to the simple and to the young men knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain to wise counsel. All right. And, that's what this walk's about, man. This, you wake up to this truth to be alert. Scriptures say in Romans the 13th chapter, to arise, it is high time to wake out of sleep. Roughly paraphrasing. We're ringing the prophets, starting, with the apostles, which are prophets as well. The apostles and the elder apostles. These were these were men that rang that alarm that woke a lot of us up that started ringing an alarm as well. We're all ringing an alarm in the spirit, Some of us are ringing the wrong bell, ringing the wrong tone, which goes into another point too, But we're part of this walk that we're all walking is to wake us up and be alert. Scriptures say, be sober, be vigilant. But why? Because we're living in serious times, man. All right? Very serious times. And it's very important that we have discretion, have understanding. Understand that we're in the valley of death. And what that means. So, when I thought to cut this on, the thought I wanted to speak on, which I will speak on here, was as they released earlier today, those Doomsday Clock scientists have moved the clock, right? 90 seconds away from midnight, as they predict, And the thing about it is, you should be alert. See, the Lord alerted us. Arise, it is high time to wake. When you wake up, you're alerted by something alerts you, right? Whether you got something that like for instance, I don't personally set an alarm in the mornings, reason why is I got children. So that's my alert system. That's my alarm. My alarm is my family getting up, and they get up pretty early. But for some, like I was gonna say, if I had to be somewhere, let's just say tomorrow in the morning, I would set my alarm, a clock on my phone, right? For some of us that are older, I remember I had one of them old school yellow clocks. You click, you wound up in the back, and then the bells at the top of it. I had one of those, when I was growing up younger, Then you had the alarm clocks, those are alarms to wake your ass up for whatever it very well may be. But the Lord woke us up through the prophets, through the apostles of old, the elders of old, pushing this word on the highways and hedges that alerted us. It's something about it made us feel an alert in our spirit. And once you get alerted, you're supposed to not, get simpler, fall asleep on your leads, as the scriptures say. You're supposed to be more and more alert because you should see it clearer. I'm driving, but I'm quoting the scriptures to the best of my ability. Habakkuk 2, right, tells us that for the time is appointed, for though it tarry, wait, for it shall surely come. For it's appointed for a specific time. Okay, so there's little marks in the spirit that the Lord has that He's ringing these alarms in the earth throughout the world for Israelites that are meant to hear that alarm to wake up. Okay, it makes me think of that movie. It was a movie back in the day. What was that movie called with Nicolas Cage in it? I think it was the Knowing. Yeah, I had to pause it. I believe it was The Knowing with Nicolas Cage. And his child basically was hearing things, And Nicolas Cage, which is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. Where basically he saw this book of numbers, which were all prophetic, that prophesied that they were all dates. It was like on this date, this amount of people are gonna die, I think, and it was like at this location or something or another. It was like the numbers broke down to that, right? And when he realized the last one was just basically Earth, all right, make a long story short, the children, they could hear something because they were basically an elect, and then they got delivered because they could hear something or they were able to see something. You can't hear that, or you can't hear. He was like, you can't hear that, Dad? Damn, because Dad wasn't chosen, but his son was, and that's spiritual because that's what this is all about. Everybody around the world is hearing this alarm. Either they can't hear it, which the majority can't. Heathens can't. The wicked of our people can't. But that remnant that the Lord is having mercy upon, he's circumcising their ears and their eyes, all right, so that they can see. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get another scripture with that. Let's get that since I said that. This is Revelation 3:18, and it says, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich in white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with outside, that thou mayest see. So the eyes are anointed, right? And the ears are circumcised so that you can hear the prophecies. You can hear the prophets prophesying. You understand? So you could see the prophecies be fulfilled. That's all a gift. That's all spiritual. That's all not by chance. Okay? But the key thing with us, once you hear it, is you want to be part of the ringing. So that's what we're here as watchmen. We heard the ringing bell, and we got called to action to ring it louder so that everybody, so that we can hurry up and get our fellow men and women out of here and children. So Revelation, the 7th chapter, can be fulfilled. All right, the 12,000. Now, of course, I'm speaking as a man. All right, this is all on Yahweh through his son Yahweh Shai's timeline. It will be fulfilled when it's fulfilled. But we are part of that foot soldier street team. You know, back in the day, record labels would have street teams, you know, and they would go around the city putting flyers up, putting stickers up, promoting albums, promoting things, right? Where people would walk, so on and so forth. And that's the same method what we are. We're like the Lord's street team, proclaiming the party, the wedding that's coming, and that's prophetic. That's a biblical parable. Okay, the Lord said, bid them to the wedding. We go to the highways and hedges. But when the wedding bells finally ring for everybody to come in, that's going to be of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai's timing. But we're here to, you know, ring it as loud as we can so that people can see this and hear this and understand what time we're in. Okay, going back to that Doomsday Clock, there's an appointed destruction for this place. Okay, and that's what we're, again, here to do, to warn. All right. These are the camps that aren't ringing, like I said earlier, they're ringing a different tone. You know, when you read the scriptures in Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, it speaks about that. The house of mourning and the house of mirth. You understand? Those are two different bells. We across the street ringing that bell of, you know, destruction is on the way. That bell of mourning and lamentations and woe, that's a different bell. Think about, if you're having a hard time thinking of what I'm saying, think about Undertaker. If not, look it up. That dum 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 da dum da dum da dum. That's a bell. Same thing versus wedding bells. You hear wedding bells and it's happier. You hear wedding bells and it's like, oh, congratulations. I'm happy for Mr. and Mrs. You understand? That's a different tone. And these other camps, that's the tone of which they... That's like I had to pause it. But yeah, getting back to it, you know, those bells, man, you know, those are different tones. They bring about a different spirit within you. And, you know, it's going to show and prove who was right. Who was performing that song, the instruments correctly. Who was ringing the bell right. You know, rock, you know, I think who was that? LL Cool J has that for the older crew. I think it's one of his he has a satellite radio, Rock the Bells. And then that's a show, a festival kind of joint he does, right? The Rock the Bells tour. Well, through the spirit, that's what the prophets have been doing on the earth. It's a Rock the Bell tour. And like we said, we're going to see who was actually performing it correctly because, you know, I believe in the spirit. We should be, you know, telling our people of Jacob's trouble. But then you have camps out here that actually don't believe in Jacob's trouble, that it ain't gonna happen, which is madness. Okay, see, this is why the scriptures speak about being serious. You know, being serious, being discreet, understanding what time it is, man. So you got to be real. See, the thing about it with our power is a power of war, a God of war. And everybody love to play that game. No, the true God of war is Yahweh. He is a man of war. Understand what I'm saying? And the main goal, the main goal of war is to win and survive. The Lord is not making us or putting us in situations of which can bring an untimely death to us. Okay? Now, death happens. I could die. You could die. Death is part of it. But what I mean by that is there's a way of which the scriptures say, why should thy die before thy time? You know, scriptures also say that a living dog is better than a dead lion. See, you get the wisdom of, do you understand what these are saying? Like, there's a way of which you have to maneuver and move on in the parameters of which you are living, because we are in a terrible time. We're in a time of death. We're in a time of destruction, you know. And a lot of these camps that are not pushing that true vibration of what time we're in are delusional, and they're liars. Because the truth of the matter is, we are in a time of great destruction and wrath. All right? Pause this real quick. Yeah, so I had to pause it. The last thing I was saying was understanding we're in a time of great destruction and wrath. And, I get to a point, too, with, these lessons, as well as, like the apostles do us. Sometimes you gotta go and get this for yourself sometimes, man. So like I said, I'm quoting these scriptures and, but, definitely if you haven't, any brother that, as I'm saying this, you should know, like, what I'm saying. Hey, man, I'm going to quote my bishop on this. He says this, he said it jokingly one time, but when we're about to find ourselves deep in the interiors of 2nd Ezra, the 15th and 16th chapter. You see, if you haven't read 2nd Ezra, the 15th and 16th chapter, then you should probably go read 2nd Ezra, the 15th and 16th chapter. And if you have questions, come back. It's speaking. All right. That's why I said these other camps that are teaching what, basically smooth things, as the scriptures say, is because they're in strong delusion. Like Jake like to say, Jake up top, coined the saying basically, like, we outside, man. And see, the problem with it is there's a lot of Israelites, they don't know how to balance being inside and being outside. And I'm not talking about being outside, being at clubs and having fun. I'm talking about really being outside, being amongst the people. All right? And that be the problem. I'm not, this is not even I'm bragging about it through the spirit. But like, we be really, me and brothers here, we be outside, man. We really see people for who they are, man. We don't see the sugar-coated side. Okay? We really see it. We see the ups and we see the downs. We see Jake having it all. We see Jake riding around in $200,000 cars and doing whatever the hell they want to when they want to. And then we see Jake living under bridges and begging for money. We see in your grocery store. Listen, this is a real, like I said, this is not a, every place got they spirit, and they can speak, and you can speak on this personally yourself, whether you live in Mississippi, you live in Alabama. And man, it's crazy. It's shit going on everywhere. But you got to really be in the spirit of seeing what it is and dealing with that shit, man. Sometimes it's not sweet. Sometimes it's not, sugar. Sometimes it's spice, But in the spirit of it, if you out here and you seeing how our people are struggling, man. Our people are struggling. On so many levels, they're struggling. Okay? They don't know what to believe. As old people would say, they don't know whether they coming or going. Okay? But for us, we have to keep our eyes solo, keep our mind focused in on what's going on at hand, and understand it's not going to get better. Okay? Now for us in the spirit, us that are laboring, it's going to get better. It's going to get worse for everybody, but for those that are serving, it's going to get better. You understand what I'm saying? Because the scriptures say what? My servants shall eat, but ye shall hunger. My servants shall drink, but ye shall thirst. My servants shall rejoice, and ye shall be vexed. All right. It was at Isaiah the 65th chapter. Okay. That's what times we're quickly approaching. But with that being said, it's important to do what you can to please the Lord so that when these dreadful times come, the Lord will have mercy on you. And I pray that the Lord has mercy on me and all of us that are sincerely, striving to please the Lord, man, because we're about to enter into some real deal serious times. But Jake out here acting like it's all sweet and it's all good and it's all love and they up, and that's where that pride. And I did a lesson on that the last time I recorded, and I didn't upload it because I was going into in the spirit. I speak on it here. The Lord said in Ecclesiasticus, the 25th chapter, that he hates a proud, poor man, roughly paraphrasing. And there's nothing worse than that, And I'm not saying like, I'm not poor. All of Israel is poor if you understand that. But in the spirit of it, there's no room for pride. But the scriptures also tell us in Sirach, the 10th chapter, that why is earth and ash proud? There's no room. That's the whole thing. When you understand who you are and you come into the understanding, you should come into the understanding of there's no room for pride. See, we weren't created to be proud. We're Israelites. We're Hebrew Israelites. We're kings underneath the stead of King David and Yahushua. But what we have, why I say that is, see, kings of other nations, they have room to be proud because they don't have a God. But we, kings, we have to exemplify the spirit of humility because we have a living power. All right? So when you have the humility, you understand that you need the Lord. That's why I said there's no room to lie. You're only lying to yourself. You're only deceiving yourself. We're about to go through hell. But it can be a better hell if you just lean upon the Lord, man. Think about you as a husband, and I'm going to close here. If you're a man and you have a woman, or if you had a woman, just think about this. Would you rather you going through tough times, right? Would you rather a woman that act like she don't need you? I don't need you. I do this myself. I do this shit myself. I struggle on my fucking own before I do it with you. And that spirit. Would you rather that, A, or B, your woman saying, man, what are we going to do? What should I do to make this better? No, I'm listening. Like, they're listening and waiting for you to give a response and a suggestion. And when you make the suggestion or you say what should be done, all right, we're going to do it. It ain't no second guessing. You're going to go the extra mile for that woman. So what more us in the spirit being the Lord's wives? It's better to be a woman that is trying to do the right thing and putting effort forth than a raging, rebellious ass bitch that just is beating her head, failing instead of just taking some help. Okay. Hey, so with that, I'm gonna close this up. I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwarash. Double honors unto my apostles and elders that are ruling well. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim that's out here pushing his word. All right, risking their lives and their freedom and sincerity. All right. And shalom to the sincere sisters as well that's out there. I know that there's women that are waking up to this and they're taking heed to this word to the best of their ability. And and that's all that matters, man. We're all trying to get out of here, man. So with that, shalom.